Hi there, I'm Lou.
Hi, and I'm John.
Welcome to our series of burning questions that you want to ask your alcoholic. I've got a burning question, and that is with my husband.
Thought you might.
He seemed to have. Don't you throw me now? Now we're going to start again. Stop it.
Sorry.
Okay, start again.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lou.
Hi, I'm John.
Welcome to our series, Burning Questions That You Might Want to Ask Your Alcoholic. Tell something that really intrigued me about my husband is he seemed to have some sort of ability to function in certain situations. Now, he worked from home some of the week, and the rest of the week he went into a centre.
Yeah.
And he seemed to, most of the time, I think only once can I ever remember him not turning up for that. And the other thing that he managed to do is whenever we went for lunch with his parents, he never was drunk through that. So I think this is called a functioning drunk. So tell me about that. Were you a functioning drunk?
Sometimes I functioned. Sometimes I didn't function terribly well at all, even though I thought I was. Yeah, most of the time I turned up for work, I think. I think it's a complicated issue, this. I mean, I think this is where researchers actually start arguing about what is an alcoholic, you know, and is an alcoholic somebody who can't resist drinking at all, or is it somebody who can resist drinking it sometimes but not at others? I mean, it was part of the hallmark of of addiction is this tension that builds up until eventually you satisfy it by taking the drink, the cigarette, or whatever it is that you need. And sometimes you can cope with that tension, and sometimes you can't, and it depends what the competing issues are. For example, if the competing issue is that, you know, I'm not going to get a wage at the end of the week, then I can put up with more tension than I would normally. Does that make any sense?
Yes, so is that just to do with responsibility? Because alcoholics seem very irresponsible in other things.
No, I mean, when I look at myself, I mean, sometimes I made it into work, sometimes I didn't make it into work. And sometimes when I didn't make it into work, that was almost as if the release valve had been blown now and I went on a bender then. You know, so if I didn't make it into work sort of at the beginning of the week, then I wasn't going to make it in maybe for another couple of weeks.
Well, that's a long time to be off sick. Now, nowadays I don't think they allow you to do that, do they?
No, they don't normally, but you know, my GP recognised I had a drink problem even when I didn't, you know, and always regularly recommended that I go to AA or some kind of rehab, but of course I didn't have a problem, so why should I take that advice from him? That's the way I looked at it at that time.
So, so some of it was responsibility. Was any of it to keep the denial going?
Some of it is, I mean, if I was making it into work, then I couldn't have a problem, you know. And so the more things that I can do, then the less likely I am to, as I say, have a problem. One of the things, and we've talked about this many times in Bottled Up, is the fact that an alcoholic is always, you know, an alcoholic's definition of an alcoholic is somebody else, you know. And if you say, well, you're not doing this, I go, yes, but I can do that. Or I don't drink as much as that person. Or yes, I get into work. Now, an alcoholic wouldn't get into work because an alcoholic would have to drink every day. Now, that's not entirely true. There are different types of alcoholics. Some do drink all the time, and some drink in binges. And I tended to drink in binges. I also had periods where I didn't over drink at all. It seemed to be controlled, and that also lulled me into a false sense of security because I seemed to be able to control it during those times, and then something would happen and off I would go. And I think there's a lot of alcoholics like that.
And it's hard not to get cynical, really, because I began to actually say to him, you know, your work colleagues are more important than me, you care about them more than you care about me. I think it was more to do with the fact of your job is kind of the thing that you really need to set in place, and I think he recognised that. Also, he didn't want to lose kudos in front of his work colleagues. I think that was really important to him, whereas I'd seen him in weaknesses and I think he assumed my love would cover that weakness.
exactly the case. You know, I mean, I would look at my wife and I think, well, you know, she's seen this before, therefore it's nothing new to her. Whereas, you know, for your friend or your boss or your colleague to see it for the first time is a big step. It's a big step, and it's a big step toward recognition of a problem.
Which actually brings us maybe to something we'll do in maybe the next video, but just it begs the question then, if some of it is to do with denial and keeping that denial intact, how much should we support a drinker in this false life that he's sitting that I'm fine? Is there a certain amount of collusion? Does there come a point when we should actually pull the rug from under the feet, even when it involves a job? It's a very, very key question, and I think that we probably need a whole.
I think it is a key question, and I think it's probably too much for this particular video. So I think we'll go into the next video with that particular question. Yeah,
it is really, really important. Please don't leave us at this point, because the decisions that you make around this area in particular are very crucial and should be very thought through. So really come and listen to this second part if you've seen the first, because this is very much part A of I think it's turning into a double video.
Well, it seems to be.
Yeah, okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.